Hello, everyone. If this is the first of our videos that you're watching, my name is Julianne Simard, and I'm a dietetic intern from the University of Alberta. Right now, I'm working with population and public health dietitians in Alberta Health Services Central Zone. This is the last video in a series of 4 videos I'm sharing with you. These videos have focused on some of the challenges we might face if we're cooking for 1 or 2 people, and some of the ways we can start to get past those challenges. Please remember that the information in these videos is general. The suggestions I'm sharing might not be right for you and your lifestyle. A trained health professional can give you more specific advice to support your health and wellness goals. In this fourth and final video, I'll share some recipes that you can make using the tips and tricks we've talked about so far. We're going to start this video by looking at some quick, easy, and delicious ideas for breakfast. Having a well-balanced breakfast is super important for getting your body fueled up and focused for the day ahead. Overnight oats are one of my personal favorite breakfasts. This is a great option for when you have a little bit of time in the evening and a little bit more time in the morning to prepare your breakfast. There's a link in the description for this video that will take you to another video where you can watch someone make overnight oats. All you really need to do is mix milk or your favorite plant-based beverage with some oats and let them sit in the fridge overnight. In the morning, you can add whatever toppings and flavors you like. This can include fruits like banana or berries, spices like cinnamon and nutmeg, or nuts, seeds, or nut butters. Some of my personal favorite flavors include cocoa, peanut butter, and banana, peach, raspberry, and almond, or blueberry and pecan. Overnight oats are great because you can get so creative with them. They also have all 3 food groupings from the Canada's Food Guide Balanced Plate. Protein foods like milk, yogurt, nuts, and seeds, whole grains in the form of our oats, and whatever fruits or even vegetables you choose to add. If you have a busy morning ahead of you, a breakfast smoothie is a great option because it's quick to make and easy to take. Check out the video description for a link that will show you how to make a breakfast smoothie. Breakfast smoothies also have all 3 food groupings in them. Yogurt, nut butters, protein powders, and even soft tofu can add a boost of protein. Oats and wheat bran add whole grains and fiber. You can make half of your smoothie vegetables and fruits by adding frozen bananas, berries, or mango. You can even toss in a handful of spinach for a mean green smoothie. Egg bites are another quick and delicious breakfast option. This is great for when you have leftovers that you want to use up. The example I'm sharing here uses broccoli, cheese, and spices to add flavor to our egg bites. Check out the third link in this video's description to see how you can make these egg bites. In this breakfast, we have eggs and cheese for protein. This example includes broccoli as our vegetable, but you could also try onions, bell peppers, mushrooms, or spinach. You can add a whole grain to your egg bites by including oats or quinoa. You can also have a slice of whole wheat toast on the side for a well-balanced meal. Now let's look at some ideas for lunch and supper. First, we're going to start off with a sandwich and wrap map. I'm going to share 3 examples of quick and easy meals you can build using this map. Now, these are just a few examples, so you can try mixing and matching to make your own. The first step is to choose your base. For example, you could use 2 pieces of whole wheat bread or 1 whole grain tortilla. Next, choose your protein. This could be half a cup of canned fish, half a cup of chopped cooked chicken, or 1 to 2 scrambled or even hard-boiled eggs. There are lots of other options you could try here, like steak or chickpeas. Adding a sauce is a great way to get creative and add more flavor to your sandwich or wrap. You might try mixing your protein with a tablespoon of salsa, some barbecue sauce, or some mayonnaise. Other options could include a dash of soy sauce or maybe some mango chutney. The last step in making a balanced sandwich or wrap is, of course, adding vegetables. Some options are onions, cucumber, tomatoes, or a leafy green like spinach or lettuce. The possibilities are really endless. Some of the finished products might look like this. We have a salsa tuna sandwich. You could turn this into a tuna melt by broiling it in the oven with some cheese on top. You could try a barbecue chicken tortilla pizza if you're tired of plain old wraps. You could also go with a classic egg salad wrap with spinach. Next up is a delicious meat sauce. You can find a link to this recipe in the description for this video. This sauce is packed with lean protein and colorful vegetables. It also uses milk and pumpkin to make the sauce extra creamy. Try serving it over your favorite whole grain pasta for a balanced meal. You can also freeze the leftovers and use them for sloppy joes, which we're going to talk about in a couple of slides. Next, we have chili. Chili makes a great lunch or supper for a cold day. Chili is packed with vegetables, plant-based protein, and lots of delicious spices. It's also a great slow cooker recipe for days when you don't have time to stand by the stove. Today, I'm sharing a crock pot or slow cooker version of a recipe for vegetarian chili. This recipe is from a website called Cookspiration. Dietitians from around Canada share their favorite balanced recipes on Cookspiration. It's a great place to find recipes for every different eating pattern, from vegetarian to gluten-free eating. If you're cooking for one or two people, making a big batch of meat sauce or chili can leave you with a ton of leftovers. Instead of eating pasta with meat sauce or chili for 10 days, try using your leftovers in a different way. For example, you could use leftover meat sauce or chili to make sloppy joes. Start by reheating your chili or meat sauce in the microwave or in a pot on the stove. You could add a little bit of ketchup or brown sugar for more sweet flavor. Plop some of that onto a whole wheat bun and add whatever toppings you like. You could try cheese, chopped fresh tomato, corn, or even diced jalapeno peppers. Then grab some extra napkins and enjoy. Next, we have a taco salad. This is a recipe you can find by going to albertahealthservices.ca/nutrition, then clicking on the Inspiring Healthy Eating section. This is one of my family's favorite meals. It's quick, nutritious, and delicious. This is a great way to use up leftover ground meat if you have some on hand. Just cook your meat with some onion and homemade taco seasoning. Make sure the middle of your meat reaches a temperature of 165 degrees Fahrenheit. This means it's safe to eat. You can also make your own tortilla chips by cutting up whole wheat tortillas and baking them in the oven. You can also just buy low salt tortilla chips from the grocery store. Top your chips with the meat mixture and some shredded lettuce, chopped tomato, and green onion or cilantro. You can finish your salad with grated cheese, salsa, or plain yogurt. You could also try adding some plant-based protein to this recipe by adding a can of black beans or kidney beans. This cold pasta salad is easy to make for a hot summer day. It's also a great way to use up whatever ingredients you have on hand. Now, if you don't have any leftover pasta around, you'll want to start by cooking your pasta in boiling water. That usually takes around 10 minutes. Let the pasta cool before you add any other ingredients. You can make that faster by putting your pasta in a bowl of cold water and then draining it after. Next, chop up whatever vegetables you want to add. This could include celery, onion, tomato, and even broccoli. Next, add a protein. Chickpeas are delicious in a salad like this, but you could also add chopped cooked chicken or canned fish like tuna or salmon. Add some cheese, some mayonnaise, and some spices for extra flavor. Seasonings like freshly ground black pepper, dried oregano, or dried basil are all great options. Mix this all together and you have a balanced meal. Stir fries are another great way to get creative and use up whatever foods you have around. You can use leftover rice for this recipe or cook some fresh rice using the directions on the package. Brown rice is a great choice for making sure you're getting whole grains at this meal. While your rice is cooking or reheating, Cook your meat in a large pan on the stove. You can always just reheat whatever leftover meat you have on hand instead. If you're cooking raw meat, make sure the middle reaches a temperature of 160 degrees Fahrenheit. Add some low sodium soy sauce and garlic powder to give the meat a little bit more flavor. Next, chop up whatever vegetables you have around and throw them into that pan. Carrots, onions, bell peppers, and even celery are just a few ideas. Scoop some of your meat and veggie mixture onto a bed of rice and drizzle with a little bit extra soy sauce if you'd like. Now, to finish up this video, we're going to look at how we can get scrappy when we're cooking. We've already talked about some ways to use up ingredients before they go bad. Now we're going to look at some ways that we can take food scraps and put them to good use so they don't go in the garbage. One great way to use meat and vegetable scraps is by making broth. Homemade broth is lower in salt and can actually taste better than what you would buy at the store. If you happen to have the bones from a turkey or a chicken around, you can even boil these for more flavor. Keep your kitchen scraps in a bag in the freezer until you're ready to make broth. You can keep everything from potato and carrot skins to the ends of celery or mushrooms. When you're ready to make your broth, put your kitchen scraps in a pot and fill it with water so that the scraps are fully covered. Bring everything to a boil and keep it bubbling for at least 4 hours. Don't forget to set a timer. Pour the broth through a strainer into another bowl to get rid of the chunks of food. Let your broth cool for up to 2 hours, then split it into smaller amounts and freeze those for later use. You can also use vegetable scraps to make a creamy blended soup. Good vegetables to save are things like carrots, onions, squash, or broccoli. Add your veggie scraps to a pot and fill the pot with enough water to cover the veggies. Bring everything to a boil and keep it bubbling for about 10 to 20 minutes. Make sure to check that your hard vegetables like potatoes and carrots are soft. You can check this by seeing if a fork slides through them easily. Next, pour your soup from the pot into a blender, and you might have to split the soup up and blend it in 2 or 3 batches. Cover the top of the blender loosely with a towel so that that hot liquid doesn't explode and make a mess. Blend everything until it's smooth and then pour it back into the pot. Next, you can add some milk or cream to your blended veggies and stir it in to mix well. Let that pot sit on the stove until your soup is hot and steaming. Enjoy for lunch or supper and put the leftovers in the fridge or freezer. Another way you can use potato peels is to make your very own potato chips. Save your potato peels every time you use potatoes in a recipe. This can include your sweet potatoes too. When you have lots of peels saved up, toss them in a bowl with a little bit of oil. Add salt, pepper, or other seasonings to taste. You could even try creating different flavors like paprika and lime or garlic and vinegar. Put your potato peels on a baking sheet, then bake them in the oven for at least 10 minutes at 425 degrees Fahrenheit. If your peels are really thick, you might have to cook them for a bit longer to get them crispy. Use oven mitts to take the baking sheet out of the oven and then let the chips cool a little bit before you try them. You can store your chips in a sealed bag at room temperature. If you find that you're stuck with dried out slices of bread or those little end pieces from a loaf of bread, don't throw them away. You can use them to make bread pudding. You can find a link to this recipe in the video's description box. Start by spreading margarine on both sides of each piece of bread. Next, cut the bread into about 1-inch cubes. Use a little bit of margarine or oil to grease the inside of a square or rectangular baking dish. Spread the chunks of bread in the bottom of that dish. Next, mix together some egg and whatever nutritious liquid you want. This could be milk, a plant-based beverage, or a nutrition supplement drink. Pour this mixture over the bread. Sprinkle some cinnamon on top and then bake all of this for 60 minutes in the oven. You want to wait until the bread is starting to get golden brown. If you'd like to add some more flavor, try mixing in chopped apple, some raisins, or maybe dried cranberries. You can also serve your bread pudding with a drizzle of cream to make it soft and fluffy. That wraps up our fourth and final video on cooking for 1 to 2. I hope these videos gave you some ideas that make you excited to get to the grocery store and into the kitchen. If you'd like more recipe ideas, you can visit albertahealthservices.ca/nutrition and go to our Inspiring Healthy Eating page. You can also visit cookspiration.com for recipes and meal plans made by registered dietitians from all over Canada. If you're interested in learning more about how nutrition can help you stay healthy and well, try asking your doctor about seeing a registered dietitian. You can also call HealthLink at 811 and ask to talk to a dietitian. Thank you so much for listening and take care.